All right. I think I'm working live. Let's see. Yeah. People will be coming on in a minute. So they say. Another 30 seconds or less, people will be here. Oh, great. Hey there, how you doing? All right. So, welcome to Clear Blue Radiance. I'm the host, Brother Francis E. Revels Bay. Um, this is a very interesting topic today that took me a little while to figure out how to say it. And hey, David, I'm doing great. Glad to see you here. So, Clear Blue Radiance has been around for quite some time. This is probably podcast number 233 or 236, something like that. Today is December the 11th, 2025, and today's topic is sow your seeds. Not C's, not SEAS or SEES, SEEDS. Many of you know that I've probably been a spiritual counselor since the mid 1970s. I enjoy helping people such as yourself gain greater clarity for yourself, as well as help you refine your purpose. So, I've kind of split this up into five short categories. There's probably more than that. The first is how we think about ourselves and how we need to overcome worry and anxiety. Well, with however the day's world is, that's always producing a lot of worry and anxiety. Um, we sometimes produce it for ourselves if we're overthinking, worry too much about something all the time, not letting it go, not letting ourselves come back to ourselves. So that is essential to our well being. One of the things we need to be able to do is this: we need to start thinking about what our thoughts are and what our feelings are, two separate categories. What are we thinking about all the time? And where are our feelings in alignment with those thoughts or out of alignment with those thoughts? So many times we are thinking all the time. We go to bed with thoughts, we wake up with thoughts. We're dreaming a lot, and sometimes we don't remember our dreams. Sometimes we're not dreaming at all, we're just sound asleep. Nonetheless, the brain is working roughly 24 hours a day. Your heart is working 24 hours a day, nonstop. So, what we want to be able to realize is that we are not a machine, we're not a robot, we're not artificial intelligence, but the world is constantly impacting our well being. Look at the news. The news is impacting you every day. We have handheld computers, cell phone, bombarding us every day. Even when your phone is not on, or your TV is not on, or or your laptop is not on, these things are sending through the circuitry energy, whether it's real or not. Electricity is in the air. Air carries electricity. Air, water, and everything else around us, artificial or not, carries our thoughts and feelings as well. Our present environment, how we live, does that. Sometimes we're in touch with people face to face, sometimes we're not, and yet we're still impacting each other's well being. I just got a text message just now. I'm going like, really? So we always gotta, as Holly says, there's always an on button, standby, and we have to now watch, ourselves when we just go out. You go outside for a walk. You got to be careful of your surroundings. You never know who's out there. So, how we think about ourselves, hopefully with self esteem, good self esteem. How much do you really love yourself? We only have ourselves to answer to. And if we can't answer to ourselves clearly, or as many people say, and we know for a fact that if you're not thinking for yourself, someone does the thinking for you. Sometimes this is important why we shouldn't be listening to the news all the time, because news is false. Not saying all is false. You only are aware of the news that you are aware of that's real, because you're the one that's in this uh, stage on this platform of life. So you can see what's going on around you that's real or not. Then, of course, you have to use discernment. Your ability to discern truth from falsehood is highly important right now. Also, your ability to feel what is correct for you or what isn't correct for you is highly important right now. So, we have to be aware of our environments all the time. We have to be aware of the kind of people we're interacting with all the time. Some people can't help their thoughts. Some people just wake up every day and their thoughts and their feelings are all over the place. They can't. They haven't learned how to control them to some degree. And the reason why I select some of these topics like this, because I'm not perfect at what I'm doing. I'm just trying to be present with myself. Try to be in touch with what I'm thinking when I wake up in the morning. What are my true thoughts? What are my true feelings? That's what each and every one of us has to be able to do. We're being bombarded all the time in the most subtle of ways. This is why it's important now for us to be aware of our thoughts. I mean, who have the people that make these cell phones nowadays as compared to the original originator of a cell phone? I'm quite sure the originator of a cell phone didn't have in mind about spying on others. But now that everybody's out there making cell phones in the past 20, 30 some odd years, some of these things are being used by quote unquote, I'll say, bigger groups to control, to eavesdrop on humanity. So we have to be careful. Overcoming worry and anxiety. What are you waking up with every day? What are you dealing with every day? What are you going to sleep with every day before your mind finally and your body falls into that pattern of sleep? What is bothering you? What kind of people are creating anxiety and worry? Life situations can create that. Sometimes we make our own mistakes, and then we got to pay for those mistakes ourselves. We have to work at bringing greater balance and harmony to ourselves. So, for the moment, for today's podcast, I thought that there are basically five areas. Two I've kind of mentioned: thoughts and feelings. These are two of the five seeds. Now, some people say affirmations, prayers, affirmative prayers, and meditations do not work. Well, that's according to their experience and not yours. So, whichever one you gravitate to the most, use it. Use it all the time. Apply it to yourself first and foremost, only yourself. That way, you could see if an affirmation or a decree or an affirmative prayer or a meditation works for you. Even if it's a guided meditation, apply them to yourself first. And what I mean by that is give it some time. Give it time. In other words, monitor yourself over 40 days, 30 to 40 days. Monitor your thoughts and your feelings. Pay attention to how you're really thinking. Pay attention to how you're really feeling. And learn to not let other people's thoughts and feelings overtake you. Now, granted, there are many people that know how to send out thoughts to other people, and often they may not be positive. There are people who know how to work the energy in a dream and the psychic energy in a dream so strongly that they show up in your dreams. And I want to let you know you have the free will ability to stop that. You do not have to be disturbed by those kind of people. And those kind of people do not realize that no matter how much they do that, they are not protected by divine forces. In other words, we know that phrase, what goes around comes around. So whatever people try to do to you, try to manipulate you, they're really manipulating themselves. And as you get stronger in guarding your emotions and your thoughts and your auric field and so forth, eventually they don't get in. Eventually what happens is when they try to be a headache to you, that headache becomes bigger for them. They actually attract more people like themselves who do those things. And then they find themselves in their own mental prison, emotional prison, auric prison, physical prison. Then they say, oh, somebody's attacking me. These are the people who were their attackers, the oppressors. Now they complain. A good example is I don't want to mention the name. I'll just say the initials MTG. That person, that woman who's 51 something years old, who was working for this guy down there in DC or wherever he hangs out at, right? She was busy selling his program, selling his anger, selling his prejudices, selling his whatever. Now she's sitting back and revealing different things and thinking that she could not be attacked too. Now she's being attacked, and now she wants everybody sometimes to have some sympathy for her. Well, no, not really. We could take the high road as a metaphysical, spiritual person and say, well, I'll feel sorry for her, but only up to a point. Because you never know how that person could be just gaining the public sympathy only to use the public like she was using us all the time before. So, again, as I said earlier, discernment is important. We have to discern everything now. We got to really scrutinize everything. I might say that I was going to call this podcast to shield or not to shield. But I thought about it, and some people said, well, um, the degrees of the ability to shield yourself or shouldn't shield yourself, well, actually, it's a matter of preference. Not everybody may understand how to do that. And There are many ways in which to do that. And some people feel, well, if you're being positive and your energy is high enough, then you don't have to shield. You don't have to shield. So here's the key: we really have to start thinking about that too. An elder gentleman used to tell me his his name was Dennis Dokes Bay. This is when I was in Moorish Science Temple back in the 70s. And he used to say it like this: self-preservation is the first law of nature. That means you got to preserve yourself. You have to protect yourself, and you have the right to. Don't ever let anybody else tell you other than. That's like people go to they go learn martial arts. One, to get some exercise. One, to have like-minded people around. Two, that's two. Three, to strengthen their body. Four, to strengthen their mind. Those are some of the reasons why you go study martial arts. And you have to find the one that fits you. And you got to find the school that fits you. And you got to find the instructors that are cool people, men or women, who are not busy looking down at you or yelling at you because you don't do a particular technique in the way that it's being taught. Right? So you look for, what's that word? Camaraderie in these dojos, in the kuns, kung fu schools, karate schools. The most important thing is you're learning the technique to apply at any point in your life, which means once you learn how to utilize those techniques to defend yourself and later another person who's close to you or a stranger, you see them being advantage taken of them, then you're able to defend them too. But the thing is being able to defend yourself. And you cannot expect the martial arts instructor to run into you on the street and protect you, because their job, you're paying them to teach you these techniques, but you must apply them. You must study the technique every day. You must make sure that you have a strong foundation mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. You got to make sure you have the confidence to protect yourself. Well, it's the same with affirmations, prayers, affirmative prayers, meditations, and decrees. You have to master the basics of those things, and you must apply them to yourself first, and then to your environment second. Our thoughts and feelings are important. Your thoughts and feelings must be in alignment with each other. That means whatever you're thinking, you have to feel the same exact way in order for the thoughts to be thoroughly supported by your feelings, and likewise. These are things that I've found out along the way. Whatever you're thinking, if that's your belief or your faith in that stream of thoughts, then your feelings should back it up. I'll say that again. The stream of thoughts that you have created, if those are your thoughts and you feel very comfortable with those thoughts, then you want your feelings to back up those thoughts. And the same way, if you feel a certain way, then you got to have your thoughts in line with what you're feeling. By doing that, then they work for you. They work better for you. Here's a simple example. You wake up one morning out of your sleep and you ask yourself, how do I feel right now? And as you begin to do that, then you attach your feelings. Well, what are you feeling about that particular thought that you're waking up with? You got to give it a moment to feel, for that thought to register itself through your body, and for your feelings to do the same. And once you know that they're in true alignment with each other, then you take on the next thought and the next feeling that goes with that thought. The bottom line is you always want to feel better. You always want to feel better. That's important. Yes. Holly Hemmett says, I am not my thoughts. I am the observer of my thoughts. That's because inside of all of us is our true self, the higher self, or as we say, the God within. The God within is observing everything. We're like a we're like a piece of machine. We're a tape recorder. We are a camera. We are a film. The brain is a film. Energy is running through it all the time. Thoughts, feelings, and images. That which is in the spirit world through the universe is governing all of us, even the ones that are doing so called negativity. But it will eventually stamp out anything that is considered a virus or harmful to itself. It will eliminate it. That's why it's important for people to remember how they are actually thinking about another person or feeling another person. Because if all beings, light beings, as we all are, metaphysical and spiritual, if we are in true alignment with our higher self, our true self, then what goes around does come around. And when it does come around, you will either let it affect you or not. So we do have to pay attention to every thought and every feeling that's going through ourselves. And as I said before, if someone tells you, "Oh, that affirmation doesn't work," no, it doesn't work for them because they haven't broke the ice with themselves yet. Until that happens, it may not work for them. Remember, it is up to you to make these things work for you. But what are the two keys? In order for affirmation, affirmative prayer, a prayer of your choice, not a prayer that you read by anybody else, your own prayer. Your prayer is the word that you speak into the ethers. So affirmations you speak into the ethers, prayers you speak into the ethers, affirmative prayers you speak into the ethers. Affirmative prayers are cool because you're letting the universe take it. And you just keep doing what you're doing to be open to the results. Then there's meditations, then there's decrees. So if you work them, there's two things that are needed, or three things: your faith that they work, your patience, giving it time to work, and your self discipline. When we hear the word cellas, when I used to study yoga back in the day in the mid 70s, cella, I'm a cella, but I didn't know that a cella means a disciple, means a student. A disciple is one who's being disciplined to study a particular teaching and to be an observer to see that the teaching is working because they're applying it. So these are keys to your success. And these four or five that I've mentioned are your transformational tools. Next, what are your actions? Are you reacting to something or are you acting on something? There's a difference. A reaction is something coming your way and then you're responding to it. But the reaction should be what? RE is a prefix that means elevated. That means if you respond to something, you got to respond to it. So the energy that you're giving out is higher than the one that you received. What's a good example of that? I'll take you back to comedians do it very well. If you've been to a comedy club before, one of the things you learn is never sit in the front. You think, oh, nobody's sitting in front of me, I'm sitting down front. No, comedians love when you sit down front because you become the target in a playful way, though. They get you to interact, get you to respond, and then they pick on you because they need to sharpen the skill, and you're it. So when you go to a comedy club, never sit down front. Also, when you go to a comedy club, never sit on the sides in the general front and Zip it. Don't respond other than a laughter. Because if you get out of character and over respond, overreact to whatever the comedian is saying, you also can become the target, the joke for the evening. So sometimes you have to be aware of your environment so that you're not overreacting to anything. And I tell you, I remember one time, it is about what, 20, 30 years ago, I went to with some friends when I lived on Long Island, and we decided to go to a comedy club. And we went, and at that time I was a porter. You know, I'm the guy that got to clean the men's room, the women's rooms, got to clean overall environment of this factory. And I didn't know any better. So the comedian asked me, let me ask a few of you questions to see what kind of life skills you have and what do you do. Now, my friends knew this about this comedian before, but I didn't know. I'm there to have some fun. Person asked me, what do you do? I said, I'm like a porter. I work at a factory. I sweep and clean. So he says, oh, you're the take. I said, the what? The whole audience fell out. He said I was a sugar, honey, and iced tea taker, cleaner. He was right. But I became the first joke of the evening. But lucky for me, I didn't take it personal. Then he asked the next person uh, in the next table. And there was four of us at a round table. He picked the next round table. And that person was laughing so hard. He said, well, sir, says you that joke went over so well for you. What are you doing? That guy said, well, I'm a wine taster. The guy said, in other words, you're an alcoholic. He just flipped the switch. The guy said, huh? He said, in other words, you're an alcoholic. You love sipping wine, but you love getting drunk. It was crazy, you know. It was really the way he just flipped the switch on everybody. But here was the key. After the show was over, he saw everybody in the lobby. And he apologized, basically. He said, I hope I didn't make you feel bad. I said, actually, no. I said, I felt bad coming into the club. He said, why did you feel bad? I said, I just didn't have a good day at work, you know, and I came here with some friends and I really enjoyed your act, you know. I have something else to laugh about. More of my job. Just take it lightly. Be serious with it. Do all the things I'm supposed to do, but don't take it on. It's just a job. And, you know, he was pretty cool about that. And we went and saw him several other times around Long Island. But guess what? We didn't sit down front. We sat in the back, toward the middle, but in the back. So that way we don't get picked on, you know. But these are things that we got to learn how to do. These are part of our life skills, not take on too much stuff from other people. So I reacted differently, which then made it better for me because I acted at a higher level. I didn't take it personally. I knew that I paid what, $10 that night, $15 to get into that comedy club, and I needed to enjoy myself and enjoy the comedians and enjoy everybody. And because I had that kind of attitude, then it was easy for me to have a good night. So we always got to look at our actions. You know, our actions are our original response. I'll put it that way. Your actions are your original response. You know, after you have your thoughts, after you have your feelings, what do you do with them? You act on them. You know, many of you, I used to do multi-level marketing from Shackley to Vima to a whole bunch of them, right? And we used to go to the meetings, and whoever were the top people, they could rev up the entire audience plus the owners of the project. And one of the words or phrasing they would say, you got to have take massive action, but they put the emotions into it, and they were able to key the audience up so people would leave there high with emotional energy to do the job, to be a top-notch presenter or network marketing. The network marketing, I thought it was selling products. No, it was getting more people to sell the products for you. That's what it is. I said, now I'm going to get those people. And then I found out the product I was selling at the time wasn't even a healthy product. That thing had more sugar and caffeine in it than what you get in an average cup of coffee. And when I realized that, I wrote the person who was over me. I said, look, I just found out something about this product. We're not selling healthy. We're selling sugar, caffeine. We're getting people addicted to it, and I don't like it. Know what the guy said? I'll take over your downline for you. I'll take it over. And I said, well, do I get my money back? He says, no, but you'll get it. You won't get the full amount, but I'm going to give you a percentage because you're being honest. And when he said that, I said, he knows that he's selling a bad health product. He knows it. And I was relieved of it. I didn't have to pretend that it was a good tasting product. I had to do that with a lot of them, but I had to learn the hard way. So, what am I saying? Don't let yourself fall into the hard way if you can. And I'm the first to express that I have been taken advantage of in numerous ways many times and lost money just recently this year because I wasn't paying attention fully. I forgot that now everybody uses AI. They use it to record a voice of a person enough times so that when they send you a message, an audio message, because it's not face to face, FaceTiming, they make you think that that's the real person, and it's not. So sometimes you got to take a fall in order to stand up. And I'll say that again. Sometimes we got to take a fall in order to stand up. And once we start standing, we have less falling. That's essential. Once we start standing, we have what? Less fallout. We learn to pay more attention. Again, like Holly reminded us, we are the observer. That means what's inside of us that's consciously aware is observing everything, monitoring everything. Now, after you can create the right action for yourself. Once you can create the right action for yourself, the fallout of your actions, how they are impacting not only you, but everybody that you come in touch with, those become what? Your deeds. DEEDS. Now, there's two types of deeds. There's the deeds that says your ownership to some physical property, like real estate, right? And then the other words for deeds is you're in ownership of your actions, how they impact your world. So deeds have to do what are you owning? How authentic as you are about yourself. What are you willing to say is really you and not you? And the bottom line is no matter what you think, no matter what you feel, no matter how you act or react, no matter what your fallout, your deeds are, you still got to feel good about you. If you don't feel good about you, then you're struggling. And it's okay because we all struggle. There's not one person on the planet that has been successful that has not ever struggled before. Now, there are some people that are born into wealth. So there's nothing for them to struggle for. They got financial backup. So if whatever they're doing, out there having a good time, traveling the world, messing up, they have financial backing. In other words, they really don't have to work if they have enough financial backing. In other words, they got real estate that's making money for them. They got these other things making money for them. They don't have to do anything. But hopefully, the ones who are set up like that by their parents, hopefully they're doing good deeds. That means helping people who have nothing. Perfect example. How many people are familiar with Deion Sanders Sr., Hall of Fame football player, who has several children out there who are now adults? Shalomi is the daughter, one of his daughters that's at, I think, Alabama University. She's there playing on the basketball team. He has Shiloh Sanders, who is one of his sons, who was more or less, yeah, Neon Dion, who was more or less attacked literally on a football field. He was set up to get thrown out off a team. But here's the kicker: Neon Dion, or call him Coach Prime up in Colorado for the Colorado Buffs University. He taught them boys from a very, very early age that you must be nice to other people, that, in other words, have humility. You must have discernment about the news media so they don't entrap you in their nonsense. You must be good at what you do and have more than one thing that you're good at. Well, Shiloh loves playing the piano. He plays one particular thing, but these boys are like their dad. You know, they can create riffs for rap tunes, their own rap tunes. Shiloh has another brother, I think, who's older than him, and that's Deion Saunders Jr., the one they call Bucky. But Bucky, he played a little football, SMU, but he's not a professional player, but he found his calling. He's a media expert. He records whatever the family is doing, especially Shiloh, especially Shador and his dad. They're putting that stuff out there. So they have something to look at, but also family members, friends, and followers. Then there's Shador, who was a quarterback for forever underneath his dad, and then at JSU, Jackson State University, at HCBU college, and then he went on to play for his father at Colorado University football, and then got drafted. Now he went as what, 144th pick, fifth round, 144. That's a long time. And his brother Dion Jr. turned it into a coined phrase, saying that disrespected will be respected, something like that. Number 144, turned it into merchandise. He's playing with the Cleveland Browns, which is a team that he said that he would never play for. But he thought about it and he says, hey, at least he got drafted. And the kid that they drafted before him was Dylan Gabriel, who played for the Oregon Ducks. And the Oregon Ducks beat, his dad's team, the college team. And they're trying to keep Dylan Gabriel over the top of him. But guess what? Shador is shining. Even when the Cleveland Browns lose, the brother throws over 360 yards. Two of them passes were TDs. And then he ran 25 yards for a TD. That was last Sunday in the cold. And they're going to play where it's going to be really cold, like below zero. But he proved himself. He said, he doesn't pay attention to what the critics say. That's what his father and mother taught him. He says there's always going to be someone talking about you in a negative way. He said, don't listen to it. He said, you listen to the God within. Whatever that is for you, you listen to that. You work on yourself. You study hard. You play hard. You become better and better every day. And that's what he's doing. And now he's got another game to try to win. And the good thing about it, he's just going game by game, practice by practice. He's not thinking beyond what's in front of him. What's the immediate thing? He's not paying attention to what others think about him or his father or his family. But he's very much like his dad. They both keep receipts. They don't forget nothing. They don't forget what negativity has been thrown at them, because they understand people will throw negativity your way. So he's a pretty cool kid, 23 years of age. Here's the other side of the coin. Coach Prime has helped his sons set their own lives up so they don't have to worry about where their money is coming from. That's a cool thing too. They do not have to worry about where their money is coming from, and they're learning how to do for themselves. A lot of people hated Shador before he even stepped on the field professionally. He had the most jerseys sold. You imagine going on the field, never play one professional game, and your jersey, which is your name and number that you got from that particular place, is a hot ticket selling. So, what did his father teach him? How to create the contract to his advantage, meaning every time you use his image, you use the jersey that his name is attached to, you use the number, he gets a percentage. Where did they learn that from? In college. NIL, name, image, and likeness. Name, image, and likeness. And what? Those who were the pros who came from them colleges donated their money to those colleges or universities and stayed there and did their best. Coach Prime, he put a lot of boys, young men, into professional football. His son, Shador, Shiloh got in, but he was attacked. Shiloh don't care. He learned the phrase, not for long, NFL. So he's not letting himself not be attached to a team stunt his growth financially. Will Shepard, one of his targets at CU, one of his greatest targets that won the Heisman along with six other awards, Travis Hunter, LeJounte Webster. All these guys that are out there. Oh, Jimmy Horn Jr., that's seven. And others that are playing on a defensive teams professionally. He got all them guys ready to step into the professional ranks. That's pretty good. So who knows if Shador stays through with less injuries and can establish his own career for himself, he could have his own gold jacket. The most important thing is, as a family unit, they stick together, they protect each other's name, protect each other's mindset, protect each other's feelings. That's important. So now that we know that your thoughts and your feelings, your actions and your deeds are your seeds, SEEDS, that you're doing every day, there's one more thing. Your intention is your seed. So, what are your true intentions? Are you aware or do you remember what you are always thinking and worrying about? Because your thoughts and your feelings, your actions and your deeds are connected to intentions. What are you intending to see happen for you? The late Reverend Ike used to say this, it's an inside job. Why did he use the term? Because he was speaking to the everyday person that attended his church up in Harlem, up in Washington Heights, up in Manhattan. He wanted you to realize that it's totally left up to you what you're thinking and feeling. If you wake up with worries, go to bed worried, worry throughout the day, that becomes your intention. You're telling the universe to give you more of that. The Hermetic laws say first postulate, first statement, first Hermetic law is the universe is all mind, all mental. Meaning that what you keep putting out there eventually is going to come back to you. And it'll come back faster because how you feel about what you keep putting out into the universe around you. So we have to be aware what we're thinking all the time. And I will say this again, I'm not Mr. Perfect. I have my days too when I'm waking up. Hey, but I gotta turn the thought around, gotta turn around the feelings before I leave my house. But guess what? The minute I have the thought, you've got to dissect the thought and the feeling. You got to deflate it because if it's not positive, it gets past your defense. And now it's gaining steam, acceleration in your auric field and beyond. So your intention is just as important as your thought, your feeling, your action, and your deed. Those 5 points are very, very important. Thank you for being supportive, everybody. David Lightwill, Holly Hemmett, and anybody else who didn't say they're in here, but I know you're in here. Thank you so much. I just want to let a lot of people know this. I want to say thank you to my friend Michelle Vidal for having me come on her YouTube platform for Resonant Essentials, which is a Resonant Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics. This is their platform, her platform, for me to come on and be able to do this at least every Thursday as much as I can. I had to take down my website. So it got to be too much to handle. So you will not find www.circleofgrace1.us with a forward slash. If you click on it, it ain't going to show up because I took it down. I actually took it down in the middle of October so that in the middle of November, before Thanksgiving, it wouldn't be populating throughout the internet. But I'm still using Circle of Grace 1 because the first one is my ancestor, immediate ancestor, who I refer to as Mother Grace because her first name was Grace. Oh, thank you, Holly. I had to hear it myself. I was going to say like shields, but some said, nah, seed planting is what you want to talk about. So if you want to find the Circle of Grace 1, you can find it connected to Linktree. So you would go to https://Linktree, which is linktr period single forward slash, and you'll put in I am dot circle of grace one. So I want to put that in the chat box. Now I know that we always got to be mindful out there. There's always somebody who's not original and they want to take your name and run with it because you're not using it, but you got to keep it in the mix. However, look for link, and this is the link you want to use for. Reason why I'm using link tree because I had no idea at the time when I heard about it what would it be good for, and now I've learned what it's actually being used for. Let me try to spell this correctly. And while I'm doing this, if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to put them into the chat. Anybody that comes on here later, always put in your like button and be honest. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. If you do like me, give it a thumbs up. We believe in things being correct. If people go on resonantessentials.com, which is RESONANTESSENTIALS.com, you'll see preferred business partners. I'm one of them. You will see all the people that remotely and directly connected to Resonant Essentials. You can get readings from those people. You can check whatever events, calendar events we have going on, like this Saturday from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m., 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. in person at the center for Resonant Essentials. I teach my meditation, creative pathwork, meditation style and method there. And it only costs $10 to sit in the circle every time I'm doing it live from the center. Also, you'd want to, if you're at the psychic fair, I'm not sure I'm going to be there, and I got to do something before I get there now. If you are at the psychic fair, we have a psychic fair every second Sunday, and that psychic fair runs from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, I'm supposed to be there, but I don't know if I'll get there because I just got some news where I got to check on something now. But anyway, if you use this Linktree URL, which is Now I can write it. I don't know where that L double PK from. There's always something. Anyway, you'll use this particular link. Make sure I get it correct. Anyway, when you use this particular link, I have all the icons that'll take you to uh, Instagram, and a few other, Blue Sky Social and Substack. And I'm also doing something else. I'm going back to some audio podcasts. I got to set up one for today, much later today, and it will be on this other link that I'm going to give you in a hot second because sometimes it's good doing these video streams, and other times, gotta laugh at myself. Other times, I'd rather just be in my PJs, not be seen, just relax even more so. So you can go on Linktree, and this will take you. I'm gonna put a forward slash after it so it doesn't bounce all over. You can use Linktree. Let me correct it. If you When you press on that link for yourself, what that allows you to do is see the different icons. I got about 6 or 7 up there, and you just click on it, and it will show you whatever else I'm doing, wherever else I might be. Now, here's the next one. This one here is very interesting because I used them about 10 years ago, and they weren't quite going in this particular direction. It was known as RSS, which there is meaning for those letters, and it had a feed. So whatever you were broadcasting through, it would pick up and would put it out on the internet. So I'm going back to utilizing this until I find a better website to host my Circle of Grace one. But what is unique about this is with this particular free setup, they allow me to be in Spotify. My old, uh, I used to call Clear Blue Radiance, I used to call it Wisdom Keys. And then I forgot there was a Christian minister by the name of Mike Murdoch who was actually using Wisdom Keys. So that's how Wisdom Keys, the way I used it, I turned it to Clear Blue Radiance. So now people don't feel that I'm connected to him, which I'm not anyway. Well, yes, DNA 12 strand is those 12 strands have been connected to what has been calling the 12 levels or 12 dimensions. They're more than 12. So we know about the 7 basic chakras. There are also 5 other chakras which are connected to the throat itself from the back. So then you have 12, and then there's the 13th, but there's more levels than that. DNA is the whole idea metaphysically is opening yourself up into a higher level of consciousness and expression of your truth. That's why I always mention the higher self. Now, I'm not the only one that talks about the higher self. There are many other people who have been talking about the higher self. Many people didn't put out books before about the higher self. Some people put them out as a trendy kind of thing. I put it out, no, it's a real thing, and you're it. You're the higher self. You just have to awaken. Each one of us has to awaken to ourselves as being a higher self, meaning that we can become our own superheroes, so to speak. We're not letting external influences manipulate who we are. So the DNA is gradually changing because we're plugged into this 3D consciousness, but we're also plugged into Mother Earth, which is consciously an organic being, and she is changing all the time. In order for us to survive it, we must change accordingly. That's very important about that. So we do have to pay attention to who we are and how we're becoming more of. That's definitely essential to our well being. And that part of ourselves is happening all the time. So that's the other link, which is on the RSS. So once sometime today or tonight, when I put this audio podcast up there, whatever it's going to be, once it goes through the system on the RSS feed, then you might also see it at Spotify. You might see it at Apple's iTunes. You will also hear it at other particular um, directories. And the category I chose was spirituality. People say, well, I see you got down religion, but religion to me is what you do every day for yourself. What do you realize that you're doing for yourself every day? Your religion is your truth for you. And then it's the spirituality factor of it. And of course, these places have their own keywords. It would have been better if I saw also the word metaphysics or meditation up there, but I didn't. So I had to create something for myself. So I'm going to now sign out. I'd like to thank all of you for joining me today. Also, oh yeah, now my grandma Charlotte, she passed before I was consciously aware of her enough, but they grew up in the South. I do know that sometimes collards greens was her favorite, turnip greens was her favorite as well. So I enjoy them. I try to cook them properly. Sweet potato pie was a thing too in the South, of course. I'm quite sure there are other things. I remember going to the home uh, that my grandparents lived in, and their backyard and front yard had sugarcane fields. Sugarcane. Sugarcane was that's where cane syrup is supposed to come from. Cane syrup is really thick, right? So sugarcane was a big thing for them. Those are some of the foods. I have one of my older cousins. I'm going to ask him if he knows because he remembers her very much, and he's from the South. He lives in Atlanta. So my mother's favorite foods were pretty much the same. My mother loves seafood. She's told me that when she carried me, pregnant with me, she made my father go to the dock and get crabs and get lobsters and get mussels and get clams. So that might be the reason why I'm allergic to them because it was in her bloodstream and then I got it. But only because it was something that she said that she craved for, or my body craved for. My mother loved. I know my grandmother as well as my mother. They loved the buttermilk style of cornbread, not the sweet one. The one that had a little salt in it. Well, anyway, coffee, tea. I do know they weren't ones to get drunk. I knew that. My grandmother didn't drink. Uh, my grandmother got struck by lightning while doing a prayer outdoors, and it was thunder and lightning. It came on, and she was in that zone, and then she got struck, and that was it. So I'm not a fan of lightning either. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I've got to go do something I have to check on and then get back here to take care of some business so I can put this audio podcast up. Everybody take good care of yourself. Thank you for being supportive. And I know the people that will come on later, such as Golden Timeline 711 and Indigo Moon and Melanie Hall and I think Island Treasure or Treasure Islands, Island Treasures uh, will probably be here, and many other people. Carol Hills, yeah, Carol Hills may check this out later. Uh, Rose will check this out later. Yes, grace to you, Brother David Lightwill. So take care, everybody. My grace is your grace. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. And hopefully, I'll be back here next week. Next week will be the 18th. And then after that is Christmas Day. I won't be on. And New Year's, I won't be on. But I might upload some recorded stuff. I don't know yet, but I'll let you all know. Take care, everybody. Thank you.